What's up, garden nerds? Today we're gonna nerd out over watermelon. I love watermelon in the summer. We're gonna talk all about it. Come on, let's go. All right, guys, let's talk about watermelon. You can see here right behind me, this is my watermelon vine. I'm gonna give you all the tips and tricks you need to know so that you can grow your own watermelon in your backyard every summer, because there's nothing better than a fresh watermelon in your own backyard. So the first thing that is very important that you need to take into consideration when deciding if you want to grow watermelon in your backyard is space. Guys, watermelon takes tons of space. There's two ways you can grow it. You can grow it on the ground and let it spread out. If you do it that way, you need an area that's at least 5 feet by 10 feet, probably 10 feet by 10 feet. You need a lot of room because it loves to spread out along the ground. If you don't have that much space on the ground, like I don't, then you can grow it like I'm growing this on a trellis. You can grow it up. You can do any type of trellis that you can imagine. Watermelon will climb, it has little tendrils, it will grow up. So that's what I've done here. But you can see this, on this side is just one watermelon vine and it's completely taken over. So the first thing, you need lots of space when you're growing watermelon. The second thing, and this deals with the location as well, is you need to plant it in a warm, sunny spot. Yes, even in the hot desert climate like Arizona, it likes the sun, it likes the heat. So the reason that I no longer have enough room on the ground in my yard is because it's too shady. I used to plant it in the tree wells of my trees, but I can't do that anymore because under my trees are too mature now and they don't get enough sun. So that's why I plant it somewhere here where it gets almost all day sun and it thrives. It loves the sun. One of the few things you can plant in the hot desert that loves the sun. So when you're picking out your location, find a place that's hot and that's sunny and your watermelon will thrive. All right, let's talk about how to water your watermelon. What do you think? It's called a watermelon. Does it take lots of water, a little bit of water? You guessed right, it likes water. So there's two things that we need to take into consideration. If you're planting it in the ground, in the native soil directly, what I recommend and what I found success doing is weekly, long, slow, deep watering. We've talked about watering before. You can see the video up here if you want to reference it, but we want a deep, long, slow watering every week. Give it tons of water, let the water soak down deep so that those roots can go down deep. Now, completely different story, if you plant it in a garden bed, like I have here, it needs everyday water. Just like the rest of your vegetables, I water these daily. The watermelon in there loves the daily water. It loves lots of water. So garden bed, daily, give it tons of water. In the ground, you want a deep, slow water every week. If you don't water enough, the vine will probably still grow. You'll probably still even get some watermelon, but guess what? When you cut it open, it's not gonna be juicy, it's not gonna be sweet, it's not gonna taste wonderful. So you need to give it that water so that you have awesome tasting watermelon. All right, and like I always talk about, watering is not the only part of the equation when it comes to your garden. Just like humans, plants love to drink, but they also love and need to eat. So you need to feed your watermelon vine. What I've found success with and that the watermelon vines really seem to like is a fish emulsion, which you can get some at Home Depot. There's some better varieties like Neptune, I believe it's called, that you can get on Amazon or at some local nurseries, but they really seem to like the fish emulsion. Maybe every 2 weeks to every month, they really like it. Also, blood meal is something that they really like because it gives them some extra nitrogen. Watermelon plants seem to really like nitrogen, so whatever you do, make sure that you feed them and you give them that extra nitrogen that they like. That'll help the leaves be nice and green. It'll help them grow really fast and look really beautiful and produce awesome tasting watermelon, which I think there's one right here. See this bad boy hanging from here. And that's another thing people ask, can it support itself? It probably can, and in fact it is. You can see this one down here sitting on the ground. If you're worried about the vine not being able to support the watermelon, what a lot of people do is they'll get some type of hammock, maybe like pantyhose or something like that, and they'll hold it up. You can do that. I haven't needed to, mainly because they've gone to the ground and that's where they stay. But if you need to, you can support them and hold them up. All right, now something that's very important when it comes to watermelon is making sure you're planting it at the right time. Watermelon can take 90 to 110, 120 days from seed until you actually get a watermelon. So you want to plant the watermelon seed or transplant as soon as you can after the last frost. That way you give it plenty of time to grow and to produce a watermelon. If you wait too long, it's gonna get too cold, and the watermelon, it still may grow, but it's not gonna be a great tasting watermelon. It'll probably be white inside and it won't be nice and juicy and sweet. So what you wanna do if you're planting seeds, as soon as that last frost is over, you wanna dump it in. If you're starting seeds, you can actually start them indoors a few weeks before that last frost. That way, as soon as the last frost hits, you already have a seedling growing inside and you can transplant it. But I will tell you that I found in my own experience, going to the nursery and getting transplants or doing it inside your own home and then transplanting it, I have never found those to be as good as simply taking the seed and planting it in the soil. Those ones always seem to, in the end, grow faster and grow better. So what I would recommend is just putting the seeds in the ground. A question I often get is, how do you know when your watermelon is ripe? It's kind of hard to tell. So an easy rule of thumb is when the tendril, which if you come in here, is this part right here. When this turns brown, when it starts to turn brown and look like it's dying, that is a telltale sign when you know that the watermelon is ripe. So just watch for that. When that starts turning brown, go and pick your watermelon. It's probably gonna be nice and juicy and sweet. But that is how you tell, at least that's an easy way to tell when your watermelon is ripe. If anyone knows a better way, comment below, let me know, but that's how I always do it, and that way seems to work for me. And also another tip and a step to becoming a self-sufficient gardener, because that's what this is all about, guys, is growing your own food and not relying on the grocery store. So a tip is, after you grow a watermelon and you eat it, save the seeds. And then next spring, you have your own seeds that you didn't spend any money on and that are already good seeds that you can use and plant. And then suddenly you're self-sufficient. You're not spending money. You're not relying on other people to grow your own food. That's what it's all about. So save your seeds. And another tip, something that I can't do now because my trees are too big and too mature, but what a lot of people do, and it helps for mulch, it helps keeping the ground cool, is you can plant the seeds in the tree wells of your fruit trees. So then it's kind of like a double whammy. So you water your fruit trees, and guess what? The watermelon vine gets watered at the same time. And then the watermelon vine also spreads out under the tree, and it keeps that soil and ground cool underneath the fruit tree. And the fruit tree really loves that. So it's kind of like you're creating this little microclimate where the vine and the tree are feeding off of each other and helping each other. Like I said, I can no longer do that because my trees are too big and there's too much shade. And again, watermelon love the sun. But if you have that option, do it. It will help both your trees and your watermelon grow. People often ask me what variety of watermelon is best to grow, and really that just depends on your taste. So just experiment with a number of different varieties until you find one that you like. But if I had to choose one to tell you, probably Sugar Baby, because like the name sounds, sugar, they're very sweet, and they're also a little bit smaller. So it's easier to have them hang off of the vines without supporting them. And they seem to grow and mature a little bit faster because they're smaller. So they're just little round balls of awesome, juicy sweetness. That would be a variety that I would recommend, but you can't really go wrong with any variety. I have some over here. I think these ones are gonna get pretty big. I don't know what variety it is, but I'm sure it will taste great. Watermelon is watermelon, guys, and they taste wonderful. All right, guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed my melons. I know you guys love some good melons, but please subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you have any questions, let me know. But if you're in a hot desert climate, watermelon is what you need to grow. Easy to grow, wonderfully tasting, and they make your backyard look beautiful when you have this awesome greenery growing all throughout your backyard. Plant watermelon, you will be happy you did when you have your own homegrown watermelon in your own backyard. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.